Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you here to our Bitcoin Innovation Mining Summit today. My name is Jason Ward, and I have the honor of leading the blockchain incubator within Fidelity Center for Applied Technology. And within the blockchain incubator, we're focused on bringing outside research into the firm, educating and inspiring Fidelity associates, and also working to build new products and services. And we're very excited to talk with folks today about sustainability and innovation in the Bitcoin mining area. Let's set the context. Fidelity Investments, large traditional financial services firm. People have come to know that Fidelity is interested in digital assets. Well, the Fidelity journey started back in 2015 through a research and development effort that had us starting out mining Bitcoin. And we entertained this type of activity for a few reasons. We wanted to understand the potential for cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. We also needed to understand the network security and network economic components so that we could understand how this emerging technology may influence our world in the future. We've come to realize that there's all types of innovation happening in this space, whether it's around hardware or different energy sources. So the speakers that you're going to hear from today represent some of the most forward-thinking companies in the world. We sincerely hope that you will find this day both informative and inspirational. What I'd like to do now is welcome Fidelity alumni to the stage. We're very pleased to have Johanna Thörnblad joining us today from Hive Blockchain. Johanna was appointed as managing director of Hive's two Swedish subsidiaries, the Bikupa data centers, which I believe Bikupa translates from Sweden to beehive. Is that correct? Right, excellent. Learned a little bit today. But originally from Sweden, but with an extensive international career, Mrs. Thörnblad has had more than 20 years of management in global corporate strategy and communications experience and held leadership positions in marketing, communications, investor relations, and media relations for companies including Fidelity, US Global Investors, where she which was a NASDAQ company where she had held Series 7 and 24 securities licenses. And recently, prior to joining Hive, Mrs. Thörnblad was managing director of the Spanish luxury tile brand Taixido. With that, please welcome Mrs. Thörnblad. Thank you, Johanna.
Thank you very much for that introduction and for inviting me to join you here today. I think it's very special to be included in a presentation about innovation because when I was at Fidelity, I think one of the things that most impressed upon me was the focus on innovation in Fidelity, to always be curious, to look for new trends, and then go out and research those trends and put resources behind them, and always strive to be a leader in that space. And now I try to take that with me when I work for Hive Blockchain technology, and especially focusing then on trying to be a green, sustainable miner. So we can, skip that. Let me first introduce you to Hive Blockchain Technologies. We are a Canadian company with a headquarter in Vancouver, Canada. Today, we will focus on the fact that we were the first listed mining company that said we will focus 100% on mining with renewable energy sources. Today, Hive has 6 facilities, 2 in Canada, 2 on Iceland, and 2 in northern Sweden. And just quickly, some performance figures. We hold over 3,000 or HODL, over 3,000 Bitcoins on our balance sheet. We produced the equivalent of 519 Bitcoin in August. And as you notice here, we have been a very successful Ethereum miner. That has been a very lucrative revenue-driven source for us for many years. And those of you who follow Ethereum know that we've just gone through the merge And we have prepared for this merge for a long time. So some of the GPUs that we have in our fleet will now be used to go into high performance computing. So we're very excited about making that shift with some of the very powerful NVIDIA chips that we have in our fleet. And when anyone from Hive comes to present about our company, we always bring this slide with us, which talks about the DNA of volatility that comes with every asset class. And obviously, this is very important when you talk about an asset class like Bitcoin and Hive Blockchain technologies. And we're just trying to show here the volatility that we have over a 1 day or 10-day period as compared our company to S&P 500 or to Bitcoin is quite a bit higher. So Hive use only renewable green energy. And we do this in Canada, in Iceland, and in Sweden. Those are all countries with cold climate that can cool all the equipment that we have. Also common for those countries are the fact that we can achieve low energy prices and that we have very good and fast internet connection. And so we all know that Bitcoin mining uses a lot of energy, and at this time, our fleet of miners use a total of 132 megawatts of power. And so as we talk about the power use, it's very important to know, because this is an industry that have all the eyes on us because of our vast energy consumption. And unfortunately, that conversation very rarely or never includes a comment about what Bitcoin mining can do for the energy system or can do for the communities where we work. And here I just want to take a minute to put some perspective to the energy use. In fact, Bitcoin mining is 0.15% of the global energy use. And the sustainable energy mix today is about 59%. And it's hard pressed to find another industry that have that footprint. And with this image, I wanted to make the transition into speaking about exactly that, how Bitcoin mining can really be a resource to the energy system and also to society. Here's a picture from one of our mining centers in Sweden. And here you see the hydro dam that is powering our largest facility of 32 megawatts in Boden, Sweden. This is a hydro plant that is located about 500 meters from our mining facility. We use across Hive, we use mostly hydro. We also use a bit of wind, and we use a bit of geothermal power when we mine in Iceland. And what's important to mention, this is in a location that is in the very north of Sweden. And this is stranded power that we're using here. If we were not using it, it would go to waste. And instead, Hive has moved in and purchased this energy. And so we are contributing to the local economy. But more importantly, perhaps, is that we are a good client of the power provider. And so by having a Bitcoin miner, a data center as ours as a client, the revenues that is coming in for this stranded energy that can actually be used to building out the grid. Because in Sweden, we have 4 different energy areas. The 2 top northern areas have an abundance of renewable energy. But in fact, the grid system to bring that power down to the south, where most of the people live, to Stockholm, for example, or Malmö, Göteborg, is not built out. And so by having Hive as a customer, you actually have the potential to put the economics in place to build out this grid. And so I wanted to take a moment also I know that you spoke a little bit in your workshop last week about the frequency balancing program, but in fact, Hive is the largest supporter of such a frequency balancing program in Sweden. And so if you move to the next slide, we have committed to power down within 5 seconds, and this is all done with technology and instantaneously. Within 5 seconds, we power down 50% of the power that is being called for the regional grid. And within 30 seconds, the full 100% of the power called. So we have 32 megawatts here. If 10 megawatts is called, within 30 seconds, that entire power supply has been shut off and shared with the regional grid. And this is incredibly powerful and not very well known, neither in Sweden, that we have this potential with a Bitcoin mining facility where many other industries would just not be able to power down and then come back up so quickly. Especially at these peak times at 6 o'clock in the afternoon when the Swedish people are coming home and they want to all plug in their new electric car or put on the dishwasher, and you get these peaks in or spikes in frequency, and this balancing system is very, very well suited for that. And now I wanted to talk to you about 3 projects that we are using, that we are participating in, that is using the waste heat from our facilities. And this is super exciting, I think. First of all, this is a picture of our big facility in the northern part of Sweden. This is a refurbished, if you will, helicopter hangar, because this is and is again a military town. And so we have participated in a co-creation workshop with the community in this area to see what is it that they would need from us as far as reutilization of the heat that we produce. And the result of that study is that we can do a partnership with a greenhouse provider and build 4,000 square meter, I think that's 4,300 square feet, no, 43,000 square feet greenhouse. And that will be built just on the back of this, which is actually an old airstrip that will be used for that. And so here you have a photo from Agtira. This is our partner in this project. They are a very serious partner. They are a listed company also in Sweden and an expert in vertical farming. What we show here is that when we started speaking to Agtira some months ago and actually putting pen to paper, it's taken over a year to get this to work out. But we were talking about a 1,000 square meter greenhouse. But over the last 4 months, this project has grown, and even the first phase will be a 4,000 square meter greenhouse. The economic viability of using this repurposed warm air has become so interesting that big supermarket chains have signed up, a very large restaurant chain have signed up for this, and also some other distributors of food locally. And so when we speak about food security and producing food locally, It's quite incredible that in the spring of 2023, we will be able to grow 800 tons of cucumbers or 320 tons of tomatoes in this greenhouse. And I tried to convert that into pounds, and the numbers became so big that I felt uncertain if I was going to write them on the slide or not. But it's an incredible amount of production. And if we move to the next slide, you will see where this is taking place. I mean, this is far, far up north in Sweden, where basically nothing grows for most of the year. And we will provide that food sustainability to the region in at least some of these products. And here I'm showing also the proximity to Russia. And then you will understand that in recent months, food sustainability in our country has become something that is a very important topic. And some achievements then, just to sort of draw some conclusions of what this excess heat that otherwise would just go to waste, and is not something unique for Bitcoin mining, by the way. Every big industry has this challenge of what do we do with the heat that we are producing. But again, Bitcoin mining is a young industry, and we're very focused on the sustainability picture. And so here we see a project that will have achieve an economic win-win for Actera, who then can use the base load for heating their greenhouse at a much better price than they otherwise would be. The community in Boden will have increased employment opportunities, which is very important in this region. And then obviously for Hive, it's also another way to lower our electricity bill, which is the big line item that we have. And producing locally, these are vegetables that would be shipped in from the southern part of Spain if we did not grow them locally. So we are reducing water by 95% as compared to the ordinary agriculture. It's extremely interesting. And so already at this point, so the greenhouse will be built in the spring of 2023. And already now we're looking at the second phase. It will be an equally large facility, but this time also including aquaponics, which I think is fantastic. So that is basically that we will have rainbow trout and salmon farming on the property. And this is something that Actera is a world-renowned in, so it's very, very probable that that will also be incorporated here. Another project that we are currently doing is repurposing the waste heat that we're producing in Lachute, Quebec. This is another area where you have minus 22 Fahrenheit many days in the wintertime. And so the heating bills for any type of facility, office, or whatnot is a huge line item. And so our 30 megawatt data center simply funnels the hot air that we're producing into the neighboring pool manufacturer facility. And this is also a huge facility of 43,000 square foot. Many of you probably are familiar with how mining works, but basically we're sucking in the cool outside air into the facility in the cold aisle, and that is being pushed in through the miner with a fan and expelled out in the hot aisle. And there we have ceiling fans that take out that hot air and just push it through these tubes and into the neighboring building. And if you switch to the next slide. Generally speaking, the heat that we're producing is quite a low temperature heat. but it is providing that perfect base load that can sustain the heat in a large facility. And then you use oftentimes also in the greenhouse a heat exchanger that will control that temperature, that will bring it up to the temperature that you need at that time of the year, and also convert it into from air to liquid that is then distributed out through the facility. And lastly, this is a project that is in its infancy, but something that is very exciting, because another unique aspect of a Bitcoin mining facility is that it's actually mobile and it's scalable. And so I'm showing here a rendering really of the Hive hockey arena, the future Hive hockey arena. The facility already exists. This is again in Boden, Sweden. It's a community of about 30,000 inhabitants, and hockey is the biggest thing ever in this community. And Hive has for a long time been sponsoring the youth teams. We have been assuring that all teenagers can go to the hockey games without paying, so that they are off the streets and in cheering for the teams. And this year we're increasing that sponsorship package, and we'll be able to put that sign on the facility. But what's more important is that when I was at a hockey game in the spring, I was speaking to the hockey team, basically, and I was asking what the temperature in the facility was, because I was cold as I was watching the match. And they were saying that, well, we used to have a display on the wall in the hockey arena, but when it started showing a temperature that was so low that it discouraged people from coming here, we unplugged it. And then recently, the maintenance staff of the facility were complaining that they were simply too cold to work there. And so we said, why don't we bring a mining container to the facility? We build a container, we put it on site, and we plug it into the existing heat system. And in fact, this is a completely viable project. And so now we're looking at using submersion cooling, because this is in a residential or near a residential area, and mining can be quite noisy. So the idea is to put a submersion cooling container in the area. That is a very efficient way to transfer heat. So we transfer that into the facility and basically reduce this cost of $200,000 per year for the community. This will make a huge difference for them. And to sum up then, well, I can say also that we're looking at many other ways to use the heat that we're producing. We're at a different small facility. We're looking to tap into the district heating system. Another opportunity could be to put a container near a hospital and use it for, the laundry service, which is a huge cost for a hospital. But what I want to sum up saying is that Hive really is trying to be a good citizen. I think the mining community at large really are trying to be good citizens, and we're innovating constantly. We are aware that we have this reputation of using too much energy. We think that we're using energy, but that we also can play a very important part in society for the grid, etc. So we're participating in the demand response program. We are strengthening the local, actually the country grid by participating and buying that stranded power. We're participating in food sustainability. We can bring the miners where they're needed, and we're lowering the heating cost for many other businesses in the area.
I was interested in your strategy on moving off of the Ethereum mining with your GPUs. What did you say you'd move towards on that, and kind of how was your strategy in moving off of that? So you've most likely known about it for a long time, right? That was going to happen. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many delays in this merge, and I joined Hive a year and a half ago, and I've heard about it since then. And it was moved up. It was going to be in 6 months. It's moved up several times. But yes, we have during this whole time made probably 3 times revenue on our Ethereum mining per megawatt than we have on our Bitcoin mining. So it's been a hugely profitable extended time period for us. But during the past year, we have upgraded our fleet, like I was saying, so that we have some very powerful NVIDIA cards that can be used for high performance computing. So that is a new area for Hive to not challenge Amazon exactly, but we think that there's a big market for these independent data centers. So this is one area that's very interesting for us now. And then we have pivoted into mining some other coins at this time with the GPU fleet that we have.
Can you describe what challenges, if any, you have educating municipalities on the benefits of your mobile mining offering?
Yeah, I think the challenge is really for Bitcoin mining that oftentimes the story is already written when we speak to journalists, when we speak to politicians, when we speak to people in the community, because lots of people just read the headline, and the headline is always that we use too much energy. And really, like I was mentioning before, not any type of knowledge about what we're doing to sustain the grid, and you know how we're participating in the community and can give back in different ways. So I think those are challenges that we're trying to overcome in Sweden. We are now trying to put together a small lobby group, if you will, that will be focused on education, because as single companies, it often sounds like we're just speaking for us. But in fact, there are many other companies in our industry that are doing really good work. And if we can just participate with the communities, with the politicians, with the environmentalists, we can learn more, and we can be more proactive in finding solutions. But if you just shut one sector out, I think, you know, it's a new industry still. People know very little about it, and are very skeptical, and so education is key, and this is a fantastic opportunity for that.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I think your presentation was incredibly interesting. I was curious, at what point did you all realize that you know, the heat you were producing for mining could be repurposed, and when did you decide to use that for agriculture?
Well, so in Quebec, I think our team from the start said, look, you know, this is a waste product. Let's put it to use. And this is how we're thinking, and this is how our investors are thinking about Bitcoin mining. So I think it's not just that Hive is trying to do this. This is important for us, but it's also something that investors are requiring. We're all going to live in this world in the future and next generation. So we just need to think this way. So we have very capable team that said, you know, this has to be taken advantage of somehow, and it's working perfectly. And then the greenhouse project was really, there had been a pilot project in Boden that was financed by the European Commission. But that greenhouse is in fact sitting empty now 2 years after I think it was built. So that was a good thought, but it hasn't transferred to reality. And so one of the reasons that I felt very excited about joining Hive a year and a half ago was that I saw all these opportunities. And so right away, we started talking about, well, why don't Hive take over this project? Why don't we use our heat? We're up and running. We have the heat. Let's do it. I think it's just taking time again for people to really realize that we're there to stay. We're good people. We're a good company. We're a serious company. We really want to invest in the community where we work. And so when we found Actida, it was the perfect fit. They're really serious about the circular economy. So are we. So I think perhaps there will be other projects together with Actida in the future.